Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Esea Grand Final. It is Epsilon versus Movistar Riders. Of course, this season, nobody is going to be going up to Pro League. That's not an option. That'll be coming up next season, which will be starting, I believe, at the end of this month. But yeah, we still have to find out who's going to get $7,000 more than their opponent. It will either be the Spaniards versus the Brits. That's not right. The European team, but obviously the organization, I believe, is British. So either way, Mixwell going to be taking quite a bit of control, and Scriv's going to take it away.
Indeed, we've got the execute coming through, so Keto going to have to hold it down, and he certainly does. Alex does manage to trade one back, but there's two more players here and at CT, and they just kind of channel straight in towards that B-bomb site. Absolute meat grinder coming through from Epsilon, and a perfect pistol from them, pretty much.
Yeah, basically as easy as it gets, just hitting their shots. Interested by the purchase already. I wonder if we're going to see any more rifles bought in. No, none. None. The full SMG, I almost want to call this the old French scene buy, where there's no such thing as rifles and only SMGs are allowed. A bit riskier with the sort of current economy, which means obviously there will be a buy coming up with AKs into the next round, but I actually don't mind it on Inferno, because I feel like there's a lot of strategies you can run in order to get yourselves, like obviously banana control and get up close, try and fight in towards apps a little bit more, or just hold back passively and wait in these off angles that just sort of almost ruin the rifles on Inferno. Either way, T's, they're looking for a bomb plant, they're looking for Soccer to try and find himself an opening with that D, and the rest of them just run on him with the Glocks, but, well, this should be just an absolute shredding. Soccer does at least manage one, but it's as easy as you like for Epsilon.
Yeah, fairly simple. I mean, they didn't have to deal with too much, and be very difficult to get into, you know, that kind of one choke point overall, especially when there's a smoke down, as there continually can be from the CT side. So, like you say, pretty simple stuff, really, especially if you've been cleanly working on your anti-ecos. No panicking, no messing about. They're liking this 3-man B setup, though, for the vast majority of these rounds so far, and early on, getting a lot of pressure down here. There's a bit of team damage coming in from Spellan, but not the end of the world. This time around, Movistar Riders opting not to go for that early banana aggression, just sort of playing a very, very passive default. You know, they're very heavily grouped up here and just waiting to see if they can catch off some aggression. Now going to go for the banana control once that initial utility dissipates. And as you give an exclamation of, Spellan going to be attacked down to 20 HP, so a pretty good start for Movistar Riders, considering they spent very little to get that damage.
There's actually quite high risk coming out from Epsilon. They've sort of had Spellan set up as the boosted player, the player who could fall back, call for rotations, and instead they still really gambled with the 4 men over towards that B site. Instead, though, the rotation starts to come back in. Spellan obviously very low on HP. Smoke is going to go down, and I like it. Just switch it up, give him that sort of one-and-done spot on the boost, and have Keto with that AUG, obviously the only rifle they have after the one man went down in the previous round. Fact is, though, the buy coming out from the T's is far better. The AK is going to be pushing into the site. Spellan, so one may not even be enough here. Like, he has to support that rifle. Not anymore. And yeah, well, Soccer, that's exactly what you should be doing. Pre-fire those angles. Make sure that nobody can get away with anything on the boost. And the remaining players from the CT side, well, they're just trying to do some damage here. They can probably buy into the next round with reasonable effect. It's not going to be the best. In fact, for some of them, it may actually be worth just saving the kit, saving the armor, maybe catching an exit kill. The problem is they're being hunted down. Mixwell from the back lines looking to try and finish off this remaining player. And, well, Rocky going to be probably ended here. Didn't expect anybody to be around there that quick.
Yeah, really, really clean round from the Spaniards, to be honest. I was kind of a bit worried seeing them going in towards B. They had the very bare bones utility that you need for that B take, you know, the couple smokes and a Molotov, a flashbang. So a little bit worried that maybe some counter utility comes in from the CTs, but they played it really well, waited the clock down, baited out a lot of early utility and just hit their shots. And like you say, that pre-fire, they fell flat to the player up on the boost in the pistol round, and this time the same does not happen. Alex, in a really aggressive position here, kind of forced into it because of Molotovs and whatnot behind him. They don't really capitalize, though, on the side of Epsilon, so he's allowed to get away with it, and it's a lot of early control. They might not expect him to be so far pushed up. Doesn't catch anyone off. In fact, he gets taken down by Keto. A good find early on. And Epsilon with the return buy, like you said, not ideal. Very, again, bare bones with the utility. But they will manage to get off to a pretty decent start here. It's another B hit coming in, though, from Movistar Riders. And up high, Keto doing a pretty decent job so far. Will eventually get taken down. Now into a 3 versus 3, but with an open B bomb site, it's going to be difficult for these CTs to get back in.
Yeah, even still, though, Surreal has managed to caught off one. Crucial. Knows roughly where Soccer is. Spots him trying to cross, and that's as easy as you like. Left onto just Mixwell. We'll be able to find the first in the clutch. Other player looking around through CT, and while Brocky will be there to put him down. Not going to allow for any more shenanigans from Mixwell, who looked like he had a real chance to steal that round away. Instead, it is now going to be CT side with their third. The fact is, though, T's actually still have plenty of money to buy back into this one. The bomb plant plus the extra loss bonus is going to leave them with a damn solid buy going into this next round.
Yeah, we'll see here. It's a pretty important swing round early on, I think, to really give a feel of how this first half is going to pan out. Great deal going on early on. Again, just kind of slowly taking that control on the Movistar Riders side. As they do kind of like to play things slowly and again, bait that utility out, wait to see how the CTs are going to react, and then move into the latter stages of the round before going in for the execute. They rushed in the pistol round, didn't work out, so I think they very quickly gained that respect that they need for Epsilon if they want to have a good showing here on Inferno.
Mixwell catching the pick. He's actually going to just fall back straight away. You can see the T's maybe expecting a bit more of a rotation away. Then again, though, this B site, if utility is used well, it can be very easy to flood the CT side out of their position. Spallan up on the boost could be a bit of a problem, and the late smoke is actually going to be the biggest problem that's currently there for the Movistar Riders. This will leave them with just over 20 seconds left on the clock for any sort of execution. And the fact is, they have to be wary of what their opponents on the other side of the map are going to be doing. The fact is, by the looks of it, it's going to be a push through. Spallan just about catches one, but he's also going to be taken down in the meantime. Keto, only one left to defend this side. The rotation is coming back through from Banana. If they can win this duel on Banana without a trade, well, maybe there's a chance, but already Mixwell picks off one, gets the second as well. 3 kills for him already in the round. And now Keto, really, he just wants to leave. He wants to be given his pass to head back onto that CT spawn. Chances of him winning this are slim to none. Does have a kit, that's the only real saving grace, and does at least manage 2 quickly in a row. He doesn't know there's another man in the site, however. Blade just going to be waiting, and, well, unfortunately for Keto, he couldn't quite predict, but a nice couple of headshots, a reduction in the amount of money made. Unfortunately, though, not enough cash for the Epsilon side to properly buy into this round. They are going to invest, but it's not a pretty buy.
No, this rough back and forth start is never really going to be good for the more expensive CT side, that's for sure. But it's still kind of workable if Movistar Riders aren't prepared for this, or, you know, get a bit too overconfident in places. The pistols and the armor that they have available could definitely do some damage here. Do need to be very careful.
Well, Mixwell off to a flying start, which is never something you want to see if you're the opposing side, as at least in my eyes and the eyes of many others, I would say he's the most talented person in this server. Definitely has the highest skill ceiling, at least. So, lucky for him to really rule the show. Obviously, a past that many would idolize, especially from the Spanish Counter-Strike scene, but he, as many others recently, have gone back to sort of the roots. We've seen, obviously, Ents rise to prominence. We've seen the Norwegians recently form a new team as well. And while the Spanish are here and ready to try and take the title of ESEA MDL champions. But 40 seconds left on the clock, and they still haven't gathered up too much space. Okay, they've got the arch control, but the CT's already fully rotated. Keto eventually checks the angle, and now the push into the side from the CTs. It's almost like retaken before the bomb has gone down. Well-placed Spallan will do a hell of a lot of damage. Doesn't get either of the kills, though, and somehow this has turned into just Keto left.
Nade. You love to see it. But, yeah, I mean, again, that was kind of where you can sort of expect things to go in a round like that. Epsilon, a little bit of a nonchalant kind of attitude coming into a round like that. You can just very quickly, you know, pull out a fast rotation or pull out an aggressive play as we saw, and it just completely catches Movistar Riders off guard, maybe communicating a lot at that point as they were going in towards the execute, didn't quite hear the footsteps coming in from behind. That allowed Keto to creep in and everybody to react off of him. But yeah, you can very, very quickly fall flat to the pistols for sure. And now we are seeing an equally weak buy coming through from the Spaniards, but this time it is the CTs who are shutting things down nicely. An opening couple of kills for them, a little bit more information being found as well. This should be a fairly easy cleanup for them. The 1 AK still in play, as yet to go down, but pretty much everybody else falling around it at this point, so it might just be worth... I'm not so sure whether it's worth Mixwell saving, to be fair. Difficult to say, but try and do some damage, maybe. Max 10. Dang it. I mean, E for effort, I suppose, or an A for effort, I should say, for Brocky there, but not quite able to find the kill.
They deserved it, I'll be honest. I think that it should just be rewarded to him at that point for the amount of damage he was able to do. Mixer, though, he sort of mentioned it's a long save to try and bring in. Having that AK into the next round would be quite valuable for the team. Obviously, it somewhat reduces the chance of him getting an AWP in future rounds, and he's going to go looking. Crucial. More than aware, and well, that's exactly what you want on the CT side. A perfectly clean round, an extra AK saved, and Epsilon now 5-2 up on their opponent's map pick. So a strong start for the European mix, and realistically now we need to see a bit of a step up from Movistar. And sort of to add on to what you were saying just moments ago about like maybe not hearing the footsteps, rotations not really, but obviously being quite risky from Epsilon. But I think that's been the biggest problem I've had so far from the Movistar's T side, is that a lot of the time they have these sort of plays that they have as a team, which is great. But if you notice, whenever they're taking banana control, they're fully focused on where they're going and not so much where they came from. And it was something that you sort of take a mental note of going, is there anybody watching their flank? And, well, this time it actually bites them quite severely that nobody was watching into mid, which is normally what you have one player doing. Like, okay, let's check that there's nobody pushing banana, because if they do, we are absolutely screwed. And it's happened again. But this time, okay, it's a little bit unfair to sort of take it away from them. They're only playing with pistols, but you have to be ready for these sort of pushes, because I don't know if they went into this game thinking maybe Epsilon were going to show them a lot more respect. They're not going to. They're going to try and take these fights. They're almost like, I want to say like a more budget superstar team. Like they've got a lot of personality within this roster, right, and a lot of people who are willing to like go super aggressive and try and take the fights, and well, definitely don't fear anybody on the other side.
Yeah, definitely. I think as well, if they've done their research, Epsilon will have a bit of an idea as well if maybe there are a few tells from Movistar Riders, you know, as to they start the round like this, they're going to end the round here. Maybe they can get some interesting flanks in and things. Again, I would imagine they've done their homework at this point. You would think so. Got to watch out. It's a nice little return, to be fair. Brocky was playing in there, you know, a few rounds previous. Those paper-thin walls, of course, pretty easy to just tap through. Pretty safe at the moment, and there it is. It's not quite the kill it will be, though. Okay. He really didn't quite have the balls of steel that he needed, perhaps, to just stay put, and he will get taken down. I think, ultimately, though, if it had stayed there, Blade is in this position to find the kill, you know, on him kind of being a little bit caught out in between a rock and a hard place type thing. So pretty much a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of situation for Brocky, in all honesty. But I don't think he'll be playing at the top of those stairs in apartments for quite some time after that. We are answering back pretty well here. Spellan and Crucial going to strike pretty much at the same time. Blade will find a trade back, but it's still a man advantage for the CT side, and we've not got a great deal of time left for Movistar Riders to make their move in, and also they look to go towards A here, and there's 2 players already there. So I think this is going to be a difficult set piece for them with only 2 men left and only the 1 smoke as well. It's really going to be tough, I think, to get into this site here.
Yeah. 15 seconds. Like they pretty much have to just go in guns blazing and hope that they can pop some heads. And unfortunately, Crucial has not been missing over the last 2 rounds, and he's not going to start missing here. 3 kills for him on that AWP. I wonder if that was still the one that was gifted to him a few rounds ago by his opponent. And yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. That is Mixwell's AWP. Keto as well, currently sat on 15 kills. So really is running away with things at the moment. And with a 7-2 scoreline, we talk about in Counter-Strike nowadays that obviously it's easier to bring things back within a half. It's a lot more difficult to bring things back once you lose the half. Like if you lose it 10-5, 11-4, it's much more difficult to bring it back. Obviously at a sort of like 6-0, you could even say, or 7-1. It's not as bad, which is very, very worrying. Also, Surreal is now just taking these almost sheer ballsy plays, running down mid. Keto runs through a smoke, and they've just destroyed Movistar Riders in that round.
Indeed, but I think it is a really good point that you raised. There's kind of less snowballing, but it also takes a lot more effort to get the ball rolling, if that makes sense. So yeah, you really have to, at least in an economic sense, I think there's less snowballing these days. So you really do have to be sure of yourself going into that second half. If you're heavily behind, it's a really difficult scenario, isn't it, to come back from?
Is someone doing some hoovering by any chance?
No, it's. I knew this was going to be an issue. It's the shower is very fickle. Like when someone uses water downstairs, I'm trying to like finish my point and mute myself. It's so high pitched. You know what I mean?
You actually live inside a wind turbine.
It's like when Dad needs a cuppa or whatever. You know what I mean?
Jesus, he is making one long cup of tea. But he is British, so it is probably the size of, I don't know, like a washing machine or something like that. Either way, we are going to have ourselves the T's looking to try and fight for apartments once again. CT's ready and waiting. They don't expect them to be this far up, but Alex is going to go down through the wall. You got to be careful, though, because Blade has already managed 1 trade. Looking for the second player. Surreal's just running towards them at this point. He wants those bare-knuckle brawls, but unfortunately, this time, Blade will do enough. Spellan tries to take more aggression, and now they're finally being punished. The new man on the block. A man who's been around for a while, but obviously only just coming into this Movistar Riders roster, has brought them back into this round. He saved them here because they were looking down and out at the beginning of the round, but I think just almost the over-aggression, the overzealousness of this Epsilon roster has cost them. Now Keto, the man of the moment, needs to try and get himself to 19 kills if they're going to win this round. He's got a chance, actually. If he can catch the bomb, there goes 1. Blade is down. They've only got 25 seconds up and coming on the clock, so they have to run. And if you know, wow, I was going to say, Mixwell's just sat down the bottom of mid, but he will actually catch Keto as he tries to defend that bomb. Got a little bit too close for comfort. Both teams definitely with opportunities there to win themselves the round, but ultimately, Movistar Riders, they're back on the board.
Yeah, I mean, it's taken them a while, but it would seem that pause certainly works in their favor. I think the only thing to kind of consider from that, or maybe a slight caveat on it, is sort of the fact that there was perhaps a little bit of too much room given by Epsilon. I think is certainly what you were getting at during the round. So hopefully Epsilon can tone in their own, aggressive nature, so to speak, or not, as the case may be. Keto goes straight down banana. A little bit of utility, sure, to allow that to happen. Mopos gets a flash in, but completely ineffective. And it will be another opening pick for Epsilon. So we'll see this time with a bit more of a passive setup, not so many aggressive players this time around. Maybe they can get the quick return onto Movistar Riders, which at this point, even with, recent economic changes, blah, 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 they're so far ahead that it just gets more and more dangerous the bigger and bigger that lead gets. Still a chance for them to get back into this round. They force the brackets control, but they've got 4 players to get past. A nice opener from Blade, to be fair, but I'm not sure they're going to be expecting these players. Keto left on 1 HP. So lucky that Mixwell does not find that kill. Molotov not quite going to spread to Surreal here, and he capitalizes, finds one, spots out Mixwell. Again, still a number of players to deal with in on this site, but it's really well done by Soccer to pick up 2, but there it is. Spellan, the unexpected element, will manage to find that kill, and Mixwell with the AWP. Doesn't matter that Keto's on 1 HP, a clean spray down in the end. It's costly, but Epsilon are right back into things, not allowing Movistar Riders to string any rounds together.
Yeah, but this is where the economy saves them a little bit. This is one of those situations, obviously, where the norm was that you would see Movistar Riders here reset to nothing. $1,400 is all they'll get, but instead, new economy system gives them a little bit of hope, gives them a bit of a chance, as they will be sat with a fair bit of money going into this round. Obviously, still some missing pieces. Brocky also back on an XM. He didn't do too well with the AWP in the previous round. Oh, can he hit the timing of the Blade? Blade has been so patient, but even still, he'll get popped in the head. Brocky, he's been stuck here so many times. Just like, I don't want to die through the wall. I don't want to die through the wall. And will just about manage to escape. The XM will remain in his hands. And, well, that bit of aggression has been completely successful. Either way. Keto. Still just waiting patiently. He actually has support. I'm quite surprised. They're going to be throwing in a little bit of a flashbang. He'll spot nobody there. You can see how almost Movistar Riders have had to change the way they play. You can see Mopo's still waiting. He's waiting down the bottom of Banana, just thinking, do you know what? There's actually a genuine chance that Keto will push this. Instead, Keto being a little bit more passive, but he still has utility to spare. A smoke can go down with 35 seconds left on the clock. He's heard the footsteps running, but he can just hide behind this smoke. This position is so deadly, but still Alex will get him through. The flashbang helps a little bit, but from his POV, we could see he wasn't really blind, just caught off by the position. I thought for sure that that would be Keto's moment to shine once again. Nade already, though, dunking onto Alex. Quite a bit of damage already done to this T side, but note, the CT's all coming in from the same angles. They've got no one over towards Banana, which is being watched by Soccer, but the fact is, you can see the rest of the players are out. It's only going to be Brocky left. He has an XM. Not a huge amount of money lost. He gets 2 kills here, and he's pretty much made himself his money back on this gun. Wasn't changed at all, because it's already perfect when it came to the shotgun upgrade, and you can see he's going to be able to not only get a kill, but get himself out of there as well. Great success. It will be a 4th round on the board, at least for the Spaniards, so still an opportunity to get this back to a 9-6, which really wouldn't be too bad on the T side of Inferno. And while that little bit of a lifeline given to them will be enough to save them here.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's difficult to tell. They need to find the winning formula at this point, but it is a good way back in. Certainly, again, that B-bomb site working out. Really good read from them, because in the previous round, you know, there were 4 CTs on that A-bomb site. They kind of bank on the fact that there's going to be 4 CTs again on A, and there was, so it was a correct kind of read from them. But now, again, Epsilon have done a pretty good job of switching the setups, just in terms of numbers, not necessarily in terms of the positions. And there you go, Alex again finds one, not quite expecting that second man to be there behind the sandbags. Great flash to come through, but not really capitalized on by Keto, but he's certainly feeling it. The confidence definitely, but runs out of ammo. Will get taken down, at least keeping things even. Unfortunately for Crucial, being that 3rd man, he's not quite able to creep around and find anything. Again, Keto's aggression, although he picks up a 2k, it does kind of cost Epsilon in the long run.
Well, we can see Brocky's still trying to cover off this A site, and Blade as well. He's just waiting at this point. He's like, nope, you know what? They're going to come to me eventually. Epsilon will come hunting, but for the first time in a while, they do seem fairly passive. The T's are going to start to gather up over towards this B site. Now, Crucial, in all honesty, I think he needs more than one. A retake, not going to be ideal with an XM, and, well, they'll have the bomb site for quite a while before any sort of rotation will be available. So he needs to hit this first shot, and there's going to be a flashbang, and he'll have to be forced off of the angle. The Molotov will at least buy him a little bit of extra time. Still has a smoke available, but he can't really afford to just unscope here as the push comes in. There's that first kill for Crucial. Now he's bought some time. Just look at the amount left on the clock. Won't be able to hit the second, but they've got to gather up that bomb. They've only got 4 seconds. It's done. The round is over. They don't even need to fight anymore. Soccer's just trying to hold on, and they're going to go and hunt him down. No money left for him. Luckily, he had some in his pocket already. But the fact is, Crucial, well, I said he needed to get 2 kills. The fact is, he bought way more time just by staying alive anyway.
Yeah, it's, again, really, really difficult here for Movistar Riders. It seems to just consistently string these rounds together. Epsilon kind of changed their setups and, like you say, a little bit of individual prowess coming in towards the end. But all the same, I think Movistar Riders are struggling to adapt. You commented on it a bit earlier that their T sides were somewhat lacking in places, you know, and there were cracks and holes that showed themselves early on. Epsilon kind of abusing that, and again, 10-5 going to be the best that they can achieve here, and even that's going to be difficult. What with the weaker weaponry that they've got coming into this, just a 2 AKs, not really ideal. They are starting to get a read on the fact that Keto likes to push aggressively and then go into a flank later on in the round. So trying to fake out A early on, but I don't really think they've sold it well enough. It's still going to be a really difficult setup to get past here. Great flash. Keto turns away from it, but he is certainly caught off by it. And now Spellan has to back away, wait for the rotations to come in. I'm not sure it's going to be here fast enough. He's still going to have to find some kills. Takes the fight, does get 2. Not quite the 3rd, as he will melt and eventually gets taken down by Soccer, but at least bought time. And a fast rotation in from Crucial could be the difference maker. We've also got this flank from Surreal. Are they going to be ready for this? It's a real question. Blade looks away at the wrong time. Great flash comes through. Great reaction from Crucial as well. And Soccer finds himself in a 1 versus 3. He does manage to find a spicy headshot, but Brocky's been loving the auto shotgun. And again, he picks up the final kill. 11-4 as Epsilon continue to dominate. Really good first half from them.
A man after my own heart. I'm a big fan of the XM, and you know what? He's been using it well. Caught off a couple of times, and okay, maybe trying to shoot down mid with it is a little bit risky, but he's definitely been biding his time and making sure that he hits those headshots. An 11-4 half from Epsilon, it really is like a very strong performance from them on the CT side. And the problem is, yeah, sure, this is Movistar Riders' map choice. They're going to really need to pull this out of the bag on the CT side. And the fact is, then we go into Mirage, where Epsilon actually have a fairly astonishing win rate, 86% win rate on Mirage. Like, and they're against some, like, okay, along the way they've lost to someone like Heroic, but they've beaten out the old LDLC a couple of times. And the losses they actually have are versus teams like a while ago versus Gambit. And it's like, other than that, they've beaten, well, even Movistar Riders. So really, we're going to want to see them try and bring this back here. It is going to be a straight-up setup into B once again. Not so much of a stack here from the CT side, so Alex going to have a lot of work to do.
Certainly is, and this is such a difficult spot. He needs to win the fights from here. Does get that fadeaway one-tap onto Spellan, but not after fighting for quite some time, and that means the rest of the teasing approach pretty quickly. Mixwell caught off reloading a bit. 4 versus 3, though. Make it a 3 versus 3. There is a chance for him to get back in here. I think a kit dropped in on the site, but still going to be difficult. This B-bomb site notoriously hard to get back into, and a nice double peek, to be fair. Keto finds the head, and now both these players coming in from the same angle. Brocky's still on the Glock. Easy for him to get the final 2 kills, and Epsilon off to a strong start in this second half. It just keeps looking worse and worse and worse for Movistar Riders at the moment.
Yeah, this is one of the reasons that you do see an awful lot of teams gamble extra players over onto that B site in the pistol round, and it's because it really is difficult to, as you said, get back in, especially from CT. I think from Banana, maybe if you have a little bit of a different avenue, it can be a bit easier, but yeah, it's not easy to fight that back, and you can see, I think Movistar Riders, well, they're going to go for the sort of big buy later on, which I do like to see on Inferno, I'll be honest. The other thing as well is it gives them a force buy round here. And I don't think that's bad at all because they need to try and get into this game quickly. They need to try and steal a round away. This will give them the opportunity. If not, okay, sure, they can buy like in the future rounds. It's not a bad start. Fact is, though, Brocky comfortably able to get that trade.
Yeah, pretty simple stuff for him, to be fair. The Eagle following the Tracers, always a dangerous one. He himself, though, gets tagged down to 2 HP. It's not quite the result he would have wanted. Again, though, it is looking still relatively doable. You know, the Deagles and the Scouts, really good combination together, but they're going to need to find these kills early on, get some good gambles on the rotation, so to speak. Soccer, does he want to go through this smoke? What's going on? He's a bit stuck. But Mixwell on the Scout, this is the key thing, of course. He tries his damnedest to find the kill, but he leaves Spellon on low HP, and again, there it is. The combination of those Deagles and Scouts really paying off. The rest of the team now going to start moving in towards B for Epsilon. There's a lot of players quickly encroaching on towards that B-bomb site as well, with only 20 seconds left. Post plants might not be ideal, but it's kind of the weaponry at this point in time. There's no utility left for either side, so it is going to come down to who can hit the shots.
Yeah, I think for Movistar Riders, they have to get a kill very quickly or just leave. Like, keep this into the next round and then save for that sort of big boy buy a little bit later on. But they got the quick kill. That's what they needed. Soccer finding one. That could be enough to start this onslaught. It's all going to be left onto Surreal. He's done a great job so far. And it's even going to be just Mixwell finishing off one of his teammates in the end. It doesn't matter to them. They stole that round away. There's going to be just about enough time for the diffuser to come in as well. And yeah, that's what they needed. That's the sort of risk they took. Like, okay, we'll give this a go. If not, we'll save and pretty much play from 14 with our AWP and everything. If we can steal this round away, which they did, now they have a relatively good chance of actually like making this close. Bringing it back, I'm not going to hold my breath, but at least making things interesting.
Yeah, and I mean that certainly is what we would like to see, of course. But we've kind of said continually it's going to be a difficult one for them. Mirage, they're going to need to pull something out of the bag on the Movistar Riders side, because it's an Epsilon home map. Maybe even the fact that it gets through the veto is a bit risky. Keto, beautiful stuff through the smoke, knows his angles. That's not an ideal start. I mean, they've still got, you know, again, that superior weaponry and whatnot, but they are kind of severely lacking in utility here, actually, on the CT side. It can certainly be risky if they keep taking these faces. Alex will trade one back. There's a lot of damage onto Keto as well. But all the same, you got to be careful.
Oh. Already losing one man. Obviously, this is just the save round coming in from Epsilon. They'll have enough money to go for the AKs once again in the next round. A very passive position actually being held by the CT side. Obviously, both players on the A side have rifles. That's going to be the one downfall. But versus the Deags, there's still the chance of a little bit of a lucky shot, the pop of the head of Mixwell, and then everything falling into turmoil. And there it is! Mixwell goes down. Now Sok has everything to do. He's got a good position to try and hold this off. Manages to get himself the double. A little bit more looking to come his way. They need to close him down fast, and that's exactly what Crucial does. However, the rotation now has come in. It's left onto Spillane. Going to be looking to get that bomb plant. That's some extra money for the team. They've already done more than enough to make this a costly round. Interesting that I think he may be screwed because the player coming in from the balcony, it won't even matter. Blade's going to finish things off. He has been a bit of a rock of this team in rounds where he was needed to sort of be the hero. The fact is, though, that's still more than enough damage and more than successful for Epsilon.
Yeah, and when you're on that comeback train, it's going to be pretty difficult to get going, really, when you're having highly costly rounds like that. So something that needs to be ironed out. I suppose it's not the end of the world. Still going to get a relatively decent buy coming into this round here. And this is obviously where maybe we start to believe in the comeback. If they can win this rifle round relatively cleanly, this could be the start of something, but we'll see. Still going to need a hell of a CT side, and honestly, it's still Epsilon's game to lose. So not only do Movistar Riders have to step things up, but Epsilon, I feel, have to step things down, as it were. But we'll see. It's always a good feeler, the first kind of rifle round, to tell us how things are going to go. Very slow so far. I think the players recognise it just as much as we do. So Nobody wants to be that player to make the over-aggressive play, to make the huge mistake, which certainly makes sense. Does look like we're going to end up on that A bomb site as the T side. Sending utility sort of all over the place. They baited out quite a bit as well from both bomb sites. Just a couple flashbangs and a couple Molotovs available. So no counter smokes or anything like that to stop them, make it difficult to walk in. It's going to be the long hit ultimately. Mixwell flashing himself in, doesn't blind up anybody, but does spot out quite a few players. Now into a very passive site setup. Blade, though, doing all the work so far. That Org, of course, so very quick. Does manage to find two. Two players in on the site, going to be difficult to take down. One of the rotators has been. Crucial going to move in. Mixwell caught off reloading into the 1 versus 1, and Mopos on this MP9 not going to be an ideal weapon unless he can get in close, which it looks like Crucial is really not expecting him. Turns away at the wrong time and will get taken down. The timing from Mopos, absolutely perfect. Movistar Riders, by the skin of their teeth, will manage to get that 7th round and the first gun round, importantly, on the board.
Yeah, this is the problem, though, that's coming in for Movistar Riders, is it's actually quite difficult nowadays, or quite difficult for us, I would say, to ever use the word reset. It's very unlikely. It doesn't happen very often anymore. Movistar Riders are actually making it possible because their rounds have been so ludicrously close that it's come down to 1 or 2 players every single time. And what that means pretty much is that realistically, if the T's win 1 round, we're actually going to have a hard reset, and we're actually going to have a point where Movistar Riders don't have any money, which is, as said, not very common anymore, and also the worst possible thing they could have right now. So they need to get a clean round. Obviously, Epsilon know this. That's why they're not taking the foot off the gas. A lot of people might be sitting there thinking, this seems like a bit of an over-the-top buy, but only 1 person surviving in the last round. They know that the economy is going to be low for their opponents as well. The fact is, though, this is also a way that Movistar Riders could get back into the game. If Epsilon don't wait for their full buys and continuously force, they could just let Movistar Riders creep up on them.
Yeah, it's really that double-edged sword kind of buy. It could catch your opponents off, but it could also leave you with obviously no money and nothing to do, just kind of having to stomach the eco round, so to speak. And like you say, that just allows Movistar Riders to creep back in. But we'll see. Again, they are working the utility relatively well. I think kind of giving the game away here, but that smoke is perfectly timed from the CT side to just lock them out, especially because Movistar Riders had just used 2 of their 3 or 4 smokes, I think, that they had on towards CT and coffins. So now they're just going to have to wait, and those smokes that they threw are going to do very, very little for them. So it's kind of a 2-for-1 scenario for the CTs. Only a little thing, but it really does make a big difference, especially when you're hitting that B bomb site, of course.
Already, Alex going to be able to kick things off by popping the head of 1. No trade available for them just yet, and you can see all of the spray coming through. Crucial, I like that. They actually throw a MAC-10. It makes a noise, and that's enough for one of the players to push through the smoke. Mo Posno still in the corner. He's able to deck 2, and it's going to be the trades back, but once again, it's Crucial. Left into the 1 versus 2. Soccer could be waiting on the other side. Blade with an MP9 once again. There's still a good opportunity here. They both have kids, but Blade just ruins him. The MP9 has been Crucial's kryptonite at this point. And Movistar Riders, well, they survived with 1 last time. This time, they've doubled it. 2 survive.
It is starting to look scary now, and again, going to be going back for another buy. Sure, they're going to get a number of AKs, but lacking in that utility, it's kind of what let them down in the previous round. And it might just plague them here in this one as well. So this is very, very aggressive from Epsilon. Seems to be the way that they've been playing most of the game, and it has been working out, but with a side switch, not so much, but almost a double spray down from Keto, who, speaking of aggression, you know, speak of the devil and he will appear. That's definitely the player that was pulling it out on CT side more often than not. Just goes straight through that Molotov. Does get 1, trading 1 for 1. Not so bad for the T side, but still, again, you know, a lot of solo plays. I think it's a point you made earlier on that there's a lot of personality in this team, which is certainly a nice way of putting it. Sometimes it works out, sometimes not so much. Mixwell going to take down Spellant ahead of the smoke. Will lose his teammate in the pit, and this off going to be difficult to keep. Brocky going to take him down with a nice bit of movement, to be fair. Crucial, picks up a rotator, and it has fallen apart here. The A bomb site, the hold's really not paying off, primarily because, you know, that one kill that Keto gets that sure is a bit aggressive from him, but because it's a 1-for-1 trade, they have to draw attention to the B bomb site as the CT side, and that leaves the A site vulnerable with the 2 players instead of the conventional 3, and Epsilon just capitalized perfectly.
Well, yeah, this was the round that, well, I was sort of alluding to a couple ago, saying, like, if they're still close, if it's, like, they're not winning dominant rounds, this is very much a possibility, and we are going to see pretty much a hard reset. Okay, Alex has managed to save himself an AK. He'll be able to drop 1. Sock will be able to buy himself, but everyone else on the team will be left with either pistols or maybe an SMG if they're lucky. So it really isn't going to be a good situation for them. And I do wonder if they're actually going to take the risk and force it here, because it's one of those horrible situations where you sort of look at this and go, is this worth a buy? Like, is this worth taking the risk? And at 13-8, I would probably say yes. Just because otherwise you're giving a 14th round over, and even then you won't have the best of buys. And well, straight away Blade picking up an MP9, so it's going to be all in. Movistar Riders have pushed their chips into the center.
Well, going to be getting back into the action shortly, and we'll see with their aggressive buy, can they pull something out of the bag? Certainly going to be an interesting one to see. I mean, they have definitely picked it up on this CT side, that is for sure. You know, Epsilon have only taken 2 rounds here so far in the 7 that we've played. So, you know, maybe could have been a different turn of affairs for them if they'd have started off on that CT side, but all the same, this is the way the cookie has crumbled, as the saying goes. So, yeah, like, I think it's very, very risky to go for this, but you are backed into a corner. You have to make these risky decisions. Blade going to get taken down early as Surreal sat in a corner. A lot of attention towards Banana from the rest of Epsilon draws him away. They are very prepared for that, you know, and the fact that with a weaker buy or with only pistols or whatever, you do, again, have a tendency to get aggressive, to try and pull off a quick flank. In that round, so many rounds ago that we saw Epsilon do that really turned the tide for them on their CT side. And now going to be a really difficult retake setup. We'll see. I mean, they're rotating across early. There's still a lot of time for and a lot of utility for Epsilon to move back towards A, though. I think they're trying to sell a bit of a double fake here, though, by the looks of things. Just sat at the top of Banana, not making any noise. But Soccer is in such a good position to spot out that, you know, no one's going to be moving. Here we go. The execute comes in. There's going to be 3 players ready for this. It's going to be hard for Epsilon to get into this B-bomb site, I feel. Great return flashbang comes through as well from Mixwell, and Alex to pick up 2. Mixwell in the smoke, on top of the smoke, there's Mopos. Yeah, just nothing they could do there. Walking straight into their doom, to be honest. Epsilon, the play not quite working out to sell that double fake.
Yeah, an absolutely massive gamble taken by the Spaniards, but it works. The read was correct. And yeah, it was looking like a bit of a sort of dangerous position there. I will say, like, personally, and if I know the opponents are a lower economy, I would rather see teams go towards the A site, just because a lot less of a chokehold, more angles that you can fight. But, well, the T's are right back in. They got a buy of their own. We're finally seeing the AWP into the hands of Mixwell as well. Alex is only going to be able to get 1. Mopos needs a 2nd, and actually, that will open up the B site. Quick rotation coming in from Mixwell, however. Molotov going to go down, so even if the T's wanted to just quickly barrel in onto that position, they're not going to be able to. Now, normally after losing 2 players, you would look at this and go, okay, well, the T's didn't win that sort of battle. But they've actually only lost pistols so far. It's all the AK still standing. Surreal going to be looking to try and get that bomb down. Mixwell wants to try and hit him through the coffin, but not going to be able to based off the angle. Now the CTs are forced into a retake, but this is one of the best chances they've had. They've got a lot of utility and actual weaponry in their hands as well.
Yeah, this is looking pretty good. To be fair, they're going to use that utility pretty effectively. However, Surreal getting into an advanced position, as probably heard Mixwell scoping, does get traded, but it's an early kill that they needed. That was an important one to find, though, onto Brocky. Spellan, are they sure that he's there? He's not really giving himself away. The defuse going to be coming through, though, and he's kind of trapped in by Blade at the front. Will eventually go down. Not a great deal he could have done there. It's really well played by Blade on the body block, so to speak, and it's going to be a 10th round. Movistar Riders answering back pretty quickly. Again, the CT side looking pretty clean. It's just the T side that let them down. And Epsilon still within the realms of a good buy, maybe one half buy, and then they can get back into it. It's going to be close. It's a hell of a lot closer than I think we expected it to be, though, coming into the second half.
Yeah, I think this is sort of the other side of the coin with obviously some risks being taken by Epsilon with the way they've been buying, and it's allowed Movistar Riders to get back into the game. So personally, I quite like them to see not buy in this situation, but obviously they can bring in the AKs. They're a team with the individuals that can obviously win them rounds, but I would like to see that AWP get back into the hands of Crucial, and I would also sort of like to see them have the maximum amount of utility to force these positions out from the CT side, because that was one of the big problems we saw with the sort of force buy win that we had, was just that, okay, yeah, sure, there was a lot of players on the side, but none of them were forced off their positions. They were just able to play off the boost on the smoke and really utilize those angles valuably. Now, Movistar Riders, well, one of the better buys we've seen from them. That is one hell of a risk, though, from Mopos. That is not the sort of play you want to see when you're still only 3 rounds away from losing your map choice. Luckily, once again, Alex is there to sort of fix the problems. He's still only going to be able to get 2. And every single time we see these sort of trades, like, okay, the early battles seem to go the way of Movistar Riders, but there's always a trade there from Epsilon, and then it leaves it in a bit of a more dicey situation.
Yeah, they have to decide what they do in terms of the rotations. Mixwell is often, being that long player, often the guy who's there first, but then that removes the AWP from the A bomb site. He's also put into an uncomfortable position, but this is, speaking of uncomfortable positions, certainly unorthodox. However, Soccer going to make it work, almost gets the second, but sets up an easy trade for Blade, in all fairness. 2-on-1 now for Crucial. He does have the bomb in hand. I think they're aware of the fact that he's around, given sound cues and whatnot. Definitely will know that he's here shortly. However, he does have an ample amount of time. Oh, no way. Are they misreading this as a B-bomb site? I think they did for just a second. It's bought him some time. They heard the smoke come in, though, from Crucial. But it has bought him the opportunity to really switch things up. Are they going to expect him inside the smoke? That's the real question. Could be a difference maker here. They're going to look to go through it as well. He finds Mixwell, but a quick spin around. Blade with the reaction does manage to take him down, and will get the defuse in time with that kit, of course. It's a difficult one, but Movistar Riders, they continue to keep this comeback going.
I feel bad for Crucial at this point. He's been in, what, 3 clutch situations. Every time he's brought it really close, and every time he's lost. And I don't think in any of the situation he made the wrong play either. Like, that's the frustrating thing. Like, when you're a player in a strong position, you're hitting your shots, and then you're still losing the rounds just based off, like, well, in that case, it was Blade spinning around and just watching the smoke. So 13-11, Movistar Riders continue to drag this back. Obviously, every time we see a bomb plant come in from Epsilon, pretty much guarantees them a buy. Like, they have the maximum loss bonus in at this point. The fact is, though, just sort of as you said, I expected maybe a bit of a comeback, but did not expect it to get this close. Only 2 rounds separate the 2 teams. Obviously, Epsilon on their opponent's map pick. It always is valuable to steal away a map that, well, not that you didn't necessarily want to play, but not your first choice. And Mirage was definitely their choice of map coming up next. Fact is, though, if Movistar Riders can scrape this through, you almost wonder if there'll be a little bit of a mental block there for Epsilon, knowing they were so far up in the lead.
That is true. You know, it all comes down to how you perform on the day. Mixwell, aggression with the AWP, something we've not seen from him this entire half, really. At least not that early on in the round. Completely catches Crucial off guard with a nade in hand. So another opening pick comes through for Movistar Riders. Certainly could be the difference maker that they need. And Epsilon left on the back foot, so things looking really, really good here in round number 25. Bit of a deep Molotov to go in as well. Going to keep holding back the attack. In fact, it's only going to be like a 3-man. He does manage to push through it, but Blade peeks out, manages to take down one. Alex on that orb, been doing a great job so far. We've got quick rotations, but maybe a bit too quick as Mopos goes barreling through that smoke. And that will mean that Soccer goes down pretty easily. Mixwell in a 2 versus 1 with the orb. He's pretty far away. And just to quickly comment, I mean, Mopos not been having the best of games, and he has made some really, really, like, tilted decisions, it looks like, to just go barreling through smoke sometimes. Mixwell's certainly capable. I think it's going to be difficult. They've got a great setup going on here, and the Molotov doesn't find anything. He has no information. Kit's dotted about, but it's this orb. This is the main issue. Oh, Surreal, though, goes for an early peek. That might just give him the chance that he needs. Spellang going to be tucked away in the corner, but it's kind of obvious that he could be here. Plays it well, though. Doesn't peek too early. Just wait for Mixwell to walk into his crosshair. Again, a very close, very dicey round, but it's Epsilon this time that come out on top.
Yeah, and that was lucky in the end. Like you said, they had the perfect crossfire. I suppose if you don't know that Mixwell has the AWP, that's a bit more of a, like, not such a bad play. But, like, for Surreal to take that risk up against Mixwell, he's had the AWP before. That's the only way he can win. Because as an AWPer, him running across there in a crossfire, he can't win that because you can't fire bullets that quickly unless somebody whiffs to, like, the worst whiff you've ever seen. It's always going to be a trade. So, yeah, a little bit overzealous, maybe a bit worried that the player had run around, or that maybe they wanted to try and catch him before he escapes, but a little bit too close for comfort there. And while this is the same situation again, the CT side, they've only lost a couple of rounds throughout this half, but every time they've pretty much been hard reset as they won quite a few in a row. And while the second that Epsilon are finally able to capitalize off of that and actually just win a couple, that's it. That's the game done. And in this sense, if they win 2 rounds, oh, the map is actually done.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a case of, I think, it being too much of an uphill battle. We'll see. I mean, give them some credit. There might be a chance for them. Mopos, though, going to get taken down. No armor. Easy pickup. Nice finds by Keto here. Pretty much surmising this game as the one of the loudest, strongest players. Spellan as well, and a great off angle. Not one that I think I've ever really seen. Obviously, I know the spot exists, but generally players will sit in the apartments, and he's just going to continue to be a thorn in the side, and he will mow everybody down. Easy stuff. I was going to say, you know, just sort of a distraction player over on A to keep the CTs guessing, but even with a nice double peek, he just finds the heads clean. Easy stuff for him. That Mac-10 ripping through them. A couple players with the Kevlar and whatnot, so easy stuff as he breaks apart the A defense, and it's going to be Matt Point coming through for Epsilon here. And yeah, it just seems Movistar Riders, great CT half, but not quite great enough.
Yeah, that's been the big problem for them. They've been fighting an uphill battle ever since they had the poor T half they did. It actually does quite a bit of damage earlier. Or no, wait, that was on the other side of the map. So it hits him and then doesn't do any damage. That's unfortunate. The Spallam will get away with murder there. Interesting to see them keep the Mac-10, so I guess the faster play is clearly working out for them. And now we're going to see the CT side make a bit of a play of their own. Ready to go running through the smoke. They already catch both. The flashbang is perfect, at least onto Crucial. That is exactly what you want to be doing. Spallang going to try and run through, and ready and waiting is Mixwell. Once again, these pistols have proved to be a problem. Surreal, I don't know what he's going to be able to do here, and Alex is ready and waiting with that AWP. 15-12. Movistar Riders still have a bit of life left in them. I like the strategy as well, because that is one that's like wholly based around utility. Like, they had the flashbangs, they had the Molotovs to catch them out, and then obviously just the popping of heads with those pistols.
Yeah, it is something, you know, we talked about it a bit in the first half, especially on that CT side. Can play a bit more aggressive, but the question is, can you then translate that win into a one rifle round? It can be very hard to replicate the play style. A lot more risk associated when you're fully equipped. Got a big old rifle in your hands. So we'll see here. A little bit of a slower start from both sides. Blade going to take a bit of damage. Those walls not quite as thin as the ones at the front end of the apartments. So he does kind of escape death. I think surely it would have been at the other side. But we'll see here. They're going to slowly but surely encroach their way on towards this A bomb site. Pretty telegraphed from Epsilon. So as you can see, 4 players being here, what with 1 player also holding down Banana. It does kind of make sense. So it's about to be a bloodbath. The question is which team will come out on top. Alex is going to be the first to fall. Another one comes through. Mixwell in on the site though, picks up 2. A third missed shot, but it doesn't really matter. Soccer is here to help out. He's still alive in on the site. The bomb down in an awkward spot. Not a great deal of time. It's getting worse and worse. Crucial tries to go up high, but it's not quite fast enough. Spellan now is in the 1 versus 3. He does get 1, but immediately traded back. And Mixwell, that is what he's known for, the AWPing. And like you said, right at the start of the game, very, very high skill ceiling that he has got. Just kind of comes into fruition in that round. And that lost anti-force buy from Epsilon might just cost them here. Very little money going into this round. Going to be playing the full 30 rounds. So it is really coming down to the wire here in this first map.
Yeah, I think it's the multiple force buy rounds that they've lost. Keto, like a deer in headlights, just stuck staring at Alex going, oh, well, this is the end. But he still have that 1 AK. Now, Spellan had a reasonable game, but not anything to really write home about. We'll see if he can be a bit more of a hero in this scenario. CT's waiting patiently now. Spellan pretty much has to hit the shot here onto Alex, trying to force him off the angle. AWP shot will go down. Smoke going to be thrown out, and I imagine they'll just try and force the issue here. He's going to be running through that smoke onto the edge of it. Catches out Mopos in the open. Alex is just going to be waiting around the corner. They will be able to trade him back, but they need to get that kill onto the AWPer before anything else can really be done. And the fact is he's going to be able to fade away. That's good for the CT side. They hold on to the man advantage. Oh, that's a bit of a miss Molotov, though. We'll give a little bit of extra time. Rocky going to be falling back, looking for that extra weapon. An MP9, definitely not ideal, and even uses the incendiary to hold them back a little bit longer, but this brawl is just not going their way. Surreal now left in an impossible scenario. The Deeg in his hand, a smoke down. He's basically just going to try and 1-Deeg the man who defuses the bomb, and this is not happening. He needs an absolute miracle. They are going to be sat there looking for the lineup. Does at least find 1. In fact, Demon gets another kill in the meantime. He can do a hell of a lot of damage, but ultimately it makes no difference. The CT side, they've got themselves the round, and it will come down to the wire. 15-14. We either OT or we go in with Epsilon taking the lead in this series.
Well, nobody expected it to get this far, I don't think, to be honest. Coming into the second half, it has been an uphill battle for the Movistar riders, but they've certainly answered the call, that is for sure. Make or break time, though. Epsilon feel like this one should have been theirs already. Slipping through their fingers slightly. I mean, overtime is not the end of the world. Can still win, obviously, but it does kind of go into that mental game where they're going to have less momentum going forwards. The Movistar riders really going to be feeling it. So you kind of want to clean it out in regulation, really. But we'll see here. 3 players, maybe even 4 going to come in through the balcony. Something slightly different. Going to lose 1 player initially. So many smokes around as well. Really difficult to get through. You got Blade hidden in. You will manage to trade 1 back, but it's a 4 versus 3 in favor of the CT side. Again, with some really fast rotations. However, cleaning up the site, Mopos going to take down Crucial, though. This is certainly still doable for the T's. They've got some really good positions coming through, so a great Molotov as well to push Mixwell out. Mopos on low HP. It's definitely a doable 2 versus 2 here.
Yeah, great work from Spellan. They're getting out of the pit was not an easy task, where all they had was a couple of Molotovs. They wish they'd had those now, though. Not much utility either for the CT side. A single flashbang and an AWP is definitely not what you want when you're Alex in this situation. Both players going to be coming around from that angle. Brocky, he needs to be the one to try and find himself the shots. Both players looking to try and peek in at the same time. He's going to jump up. Not quite the right timing for him, but this is going to be very difficult. Alex needing to round the corner, goes for the no-scope, but it's not going to be there. It will be done and dusted, as close as you like from this first matchup. But the fact is, it is going to be Epsilon taking their opponent's map choice, but, well, almost letting it slip.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it time and time and time again where those comebacks can get mounted, and then all of a sudden, when the pressure is on, their backs are truly against the wall, that team that is initially ahead pull it back right at the very last second. But there were ample opportunities, in all fairness, for Epsilon to clean up that first map,
Oh, yeah, they should
and they
have done.
fluffed it in a lot of cases, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
So it's kind of interesting.
I think the other thing as well is for Movistar riders, like there were some definite holes in their T side. Obviously, it seems like a long, long time ago, but like even just simple things like watching your flanks, it was a big problem, and obviously gave such a mammoth lead over to Epsilon, which they eventually closed out. Either way, that is the first map of the best of 3 series. We've got Mirage. Epsilon's coming up after the break.